Tandem Nomads episode 223. All right. You might know it already. You need to focus on a very specific and small niche if you want to succeed in business, especially when you build a solo business and a portable business. But now, what if you're worried that nobody will actually buy for you? And what if at some point you actually want to work with other type of people? All right, let's talk about this right now. Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and tips to grow a successful portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life. This is your host, Emel Deregi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. This episode is part of a series where I answer the questions of the audience of Tandem Nomads, you, Nomad Nation. So I'm really grateful that so many of you have been sharing some amazing questions, and I've decided to put this challenge to myself to answer one question in each episode and give you as much value as I can in 15 minutes or less. So let's see how that goes today. So Nomad Nation, if you have a burning question that you want me to address in order to help you start or grow your portable business, make sure to go to the show notes of this episode where you will find a link to drop your question. Go to tandemnomads.com/223 and you will find the link at the end of that page where you can leave your question, and I will be more than happy to consider it for these short episodes. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to answer all the questions because I did receive a lot until now, but I love to hear from you because it gives me an idea of what are the common challenges that you all have so that I can address these questions for you. So go to tandemnomads.com/223 and leave your question. I am here to help and excited to learn about what are you working on in your business. All right, so today's question is from Vici T. So if you recognize yourself, Vici, big shout out to you and thank you for this great question that I know so many of you might resonate with. So here is Vicky's question. Is it okay to change my niche halfway down the line? What a fantastic question. And before I answer it, I want to again highlight and insist on this important fact. If this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, you know that I often repeat how important it is to focus on a small and specific niche. Because if you try to resonate with everybody, you will resonate with nobody. And as the other quote says, it is so much better to be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. And the reason why it is the case is simply in terms of resources. If you really want to be effective with your marketing and attract your ideal clients, you need to have a messaging that is specifically addressed to your ideal clients. And if you have a broad niche or different types of niches, you need to have one marketing strategy and one messaging per ideal client. So that can be so taxing and can be so overwhelming, especially if you are a solopreneur or a small business owner. So for you to be able to be effective with your marketing and not lose your energy, your time, and your money, you need to focus on a small but specific niche. So here, there's so many ways you can look at it, but I just want to give you a couple of examples. But if you want to dive deep into this topic and you still need to nail your messaging and your marketing strategy for your niche, make sure to download my free workbook where I take you step by step through the process and some exercises to help you really be specific and effective with how you describe your business and your niche. So go to tandemnomads.com/223 and download your free workbook. I'm going to get some inspiration from my own clients to show you some of great ways to focus on a niche. For example, we have a tutor. If you were a tutor teaching how to read, you could teach a lot of different type of children, but she has focused on expat children who move from international schools to another, but also went even deeper, focusing on those who have dyslexia. I have another client who organizes unique virtual experiences through a certain technology, but also her skills in facilitation. You could provide this service to so many different types of people and companies. She focused on fundraising, helping people who in the field of fundraising have those unique experiences to help them grow their numbers of donors. So I just gave you some great examples here how you can have a very wide service or product that could fit to so many people that you need to actually focus very deep and very narrow so that you can be effective at reaching them out. All right, so I think I made my point about the importance of being specific. So if you are just starting out with your business, or even if you are already have launched long ago and already started working with clients, but struggle to really position yourself, ask yourself, who is that one ideal type of client you can focus on? All right, so now I want to address this great question from Vici, who says, what if I want to change my niche halfway down the line? So as a business coach, my first question when I heard this one would be, okay, why would you need to change your niche down the road? And there's many different reasons why this might happen. The first one is that you might be looking at just trying something new because you don't want to focus on that specific niche the whole time. Or you might not have had enough traction with that niche. Or you actually, and this is something that I know from a lot of people in the community of Tandem Nomads who might be moving a lot from a country to another, is saying, okay, I will be moving to another country soon and my niche will be different. So here I just want to raise a big red flag. The whole thing about Tandem Nomads and what I'm really passionate about is creating consistency and creating consistent growth in your journey as a business owner. And this is why it's important to build a business that's portable and that does not depend on the location where you live. So if by any chance you're saying, I'm going to focus on this niche because I live in this country and then later I will go to that country, please don't make that math in your head. Make sure to build a niche that you can actually target and work on wherever you are. This is really important because you don't know what will happen once you move again to another country and that you change niches, as you say, and then maybe you'll have to move again. So this is not sustainable for your mental health and not sustainable for your bank account. You want to create a business that consistently grows. The best way to be the go-to expert is actually to avoid changing your niche all the time. So if you want to change your niche half the way, I want you to ask your question, why is it? What are the reasons behind it? And be honest with yourself and the motivations that you're having to change your niche. Now, maybe you feel like you fell into a market by chance and got to attract certain clients without even really choosing to. And maybe that's also possible. I've seen it. At some point, you just don't feel that connection with that niche. You're not excited to work with them. You attract them. You are making money. You are growing your business and you are the expert to go to in that niche, but you're not excited. So that I totally can understand the dilemma of having a business that generates revenue in a certain niche, but you don't really feel excited about it. And I believe that it's so important to actually be excited about what you do. If you don't love what you do, what's the point of doing it, right? So I understand that challenge and that dilemma, and I completely would encourage in this point of you to actually shift and change your niche indeed. So we're going to talk about the how very soon, but I just want to insist on that part as well. If you are not excited and if you don't love your clients, if you don't love the niche you are in, there's no point of going further because it would be so difficult. Now, the third scenario where you might need to actually change your niche is more progressive and less sudden. And this is the case where actually you have grown out your niche. And this happens as well a lot. So I'm going to show you my example and as well as show you how and why you should not be worried of focusing on a small niche by thinking, what if I don't have enough clients in that niche? Because I believe that if you nail your messaging and if you really manage to be the go-to expert in your niche and be consistent with your marketing to be that expert, your niche will very slowly and progressively grow on its own, and you will start attracting people outside of that niche. So maybe you're thinking of a certain niche right now, but you're hoping to expand as well. So my advice in this case, focus on that niche and you will see where it grows. Let me give you just a specific example here with my case. So when I started Tandem Nomads, my niche was very specific and very small. It was expat partners who move every 2 to 3 years from a country to another and who are really committed to growing their revenue and being financially independent. I really focus on these specificities and characters of my niche. So for many years, I have been really focusing all my marketing around this target audience. And it has worked. It has really worked. But what I noticed over the year is that my niche started to grow and attract more than just expat partners. The commonality between my audience are people, first of all, who are looking for a successful portable business and strategies to make them be able to grow a consistent business that generates revenue no matter where you are, but also even if you want to work at home and have the flexibility to work from home. But also the other common things between my audience are people who are globally minded. Not necessarily expats, but they could be global nomads in general, or globally minded because they have a huge diverse background. And they do identify with the diversity of the audience of Tandem Nomads and the community of Tandem Nomads. And the other common things between this audience is that they want to succeed in their business while making a huge impact in their society or their community. And that is what happened over the years. I started attracting naturally people who are not specifically expat partners. So this is quite a positive message for you who are hesitating to focus on a small niche. Know that if you nail your messaging, it will naturally attract people outside that niche as you grow your brand. So to answer the question of Vicky, my first intake in this, is it okay to change my niche halfway? I would first say, don't worry about that right now. Focus on that niche that you're working on now. And there's a big chance if you nail your marketing that you will attract people outside of that niche. So this is really important to realize. But then maybe at some point you will want to be more intentional about it. And this is where you start incrementally changing a little bit your messaging to make it fit to that new target audience. So I wouldn't do it from a day to another, especially if your first strategy has worked with your first niche. You continue to address them, but then you start incrementally including some messaging and some wording and also some marketing strategies to enter this other expanded niche or other specific niche that has some commonalities with your other niche, but is not totally 100% that same niche. So you can do it progressively so that you don't have a huge break into your revenue, but also into your marketing, and it doesn't feel like a huge disruption in what you are doing. So this is something you can do very progressively over the time. All right, I hope these answers were clear for all of you, specifically for Vicky, but that it all helped you reflect on the importance for you to focus on a niche. And if you feel like already now you want to change it down the road, ask yourself the right questions and what are the right reasons behind it and the right motivations. Nothing will be as effective as being really specific with your niche right now and being consistent with it. All right, so Nomad Nation, I shared with you some resources as well on tandemnomads.com/223. You will find your workbook where you can really study your niche and experiment how to attract them, as well as the link where you can ask your questions. I look forward to addressing all your questions through these series of episodes. I am loving all the fantastic questions you're bringing, and it's such a great challenge for me to keep it under 15 minutes. Try to make it this even shorter, but I hope you have had a lot of insights and inspiration here, and I look forward to meeting you in the next episode. Stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.